The Indiana Fever fans were chanting, "Sophie, Sophie."
During a matchup where Caitlin Clark kept getting hammered on every possession and the officials stayed silent, the crowd had one demand: take action. That's when Sophie Cunningham rose to the moment.
Sheldon going coast to coast. And here we got another.
In a clip that instantly blew up online, Sophie Cunningham didn't just fire a warning to JC Sheldon. She didn't just signal the Connecticut Sun. She sent a message to the entire WNBA. Don't cross Caitlin Clark.
Teams are going to have to think twice about messing with Caitlin Clark again.
As fans raged over how Caitlin Clark was targeted all game with zero accountability from the refs, they finally got what they had been demanding. An enforcer, a protector, someone fearless enough to make a stand. From the wreckage of poor officiating, a new star was born. In a single play, Sophie didn't just defend her teammate. She ignited a spark that could shift the direction of the Fever season. And yes, it may sound early, but Sophie just became a name every sports fan knows.
They didn't know, like, whoa, I can't believe this is happening. I can't believe people are doing this to Caitlin Clark. Teammates weren't jumping in there. They bring in Sophie Cunningham. I had no idea. Sophie Cunningham was a black belt at the age of 6.
Yeah. Yep.
Boom! Wow.
The ripple effect came instantly. Within 2 days, Sophie's name was everywhere. The clips went viral, supporters rallied, and the atmosphere completely shifted. This wasn't just Fever versus the league anymore. It was Caitlin against everyone. And Sophie stepped in as her official bodyguard. The crazy part? That one play might make Sophie millions. No exaggeration. Signs are already there. Let's dive in. But first, tap that like button. Drop a boxing glove emoji if you respected Sophie's stand. And subscribe for more WNBA coverage.
When they allow that stuff to happen, and it's been happening all season long. All season long. It's not just this game, it's been happening all season long. This is what happens, right? This is what happens. You've got competitive women who are the best in the world at what they do, right? And when you allow them to play physical and you allow these things to happen, they're going to compete. And they're going to have their teammates' backs.
There's no question. The Fever's showdown with the Sun marked rock bottom for the WNBA. Complaints about officiating aren't new. Kelsey Plum literally broke down in tears recently, praying the situation would improve. But what unfolded against the Sun made one thing clear. It's open season on Caitlin Clark, and referees won't intervene.
Watch when Caitlin Clark is trying to create some space. It looked like she just got hit in the eye there.
Ooh, and Marina Mabry. I missed that one, Idona.
JC Sheldon went after the literal face, and then, in the chaos that Marina Mabry body-checked Kate Court, it was like Dejanay Carrington and Andy Carter had somehow cloned themselves and entered the game as a tag team, and the upplay made it crystal clear. It was even egregious than it looked in real time.
And the alternate replays made it obvious. It was worse than it looked live.
This angle is wild, folks. There's the eye gouge. Watch Mabry. Boom! I mean, come on.
Sheldon's swipe wasn't accidental. It was calculated. And Marina didn't simply bump Caitlin. She launched her. In the NBA, this would have been called immediately. But in the WNBA, just another night. And honestly, it was discouraging. Even though Lexi Hull confronted Sheldon briefly, the Fever barely showed resistance on court, especially under coach Stephanie White. Yes, she redeemed herself afterward at the press table, but in that instant, fans wanted her to go full Bobby Knight and toss a chair. An iconic image considering Knight coached Indiana. And for anyone ready to say Caitlin's soft, just stop.
It made me think if this was LeBron in the NBA, think if this was Steph Curry in the NBA, do you really think that the NBA would be allowing certain players in the NBA to go after LeBron the way that Caitlin was chucked to the ground? Do you think if another player came up, blindsided LeBron, chucked him to the ground after he had just been poked in the eye, that the NBA would be like, oh yeah, technicals, nobody's ejected, just a common technical foul? That would never happen. It would never happen.
There's no way something like this happens to Steph Curry or LeBron James without swift punishment. The commentators were stunned Marina wasn't thrown out after the body check. And here's the fact. Caitlin Clark is more crucial to the WNBA today than Steph or LeBron are to the NBA. That's not an opinion, it's the truth. We already saw the impact when Caitlin sat out 5 games.
Even as good as that rating was, Caitlin Clark's good for about 1 million extra viewers.
Viewership didn't just dip, it collapsed. Fever games dropped more than 50%. League-wide buzz crashed. You'd assume there'd be a mandate. Protect Caitlin at all costs. Star treatment, protective whistles, everything. So this wasn't just a missed call. It was outrageous treatment of the league's most valuable player. A huge embarrassment for the WNBA. Now critics are everywhere. Fans, analysts, even ex-players. This isn't just bad refereeing, it's league-wide disrespect.
And I mean, when I tell you social media is setting the WNBA on fire right now, not in a good way, that's the understatement.
Even with the Fever controlling the game easily and Caitlin delivering the play of the night with a dagger 3 and ruthless trash talk toward the Suns bench, something still felt unfinished. The result was secure, but the statement wasn't made. The story wasn't complete. Then Sophie stepped in.
That's a flagrant foul. It's a hard foul.
With the outcome locked, Sophie dropped JC Sheldon with a hard foul and showcased her Taekwondo instincts. It was pure release. Fever fans, WNBA followers, Caitlin Clark supporters, everyone tired of seeing Caitlin abused. Finally got the pushback they wanted, but it was bigger than one foul. It wasn't just about Sheldon. It felt like Sophie was answering weeks of cheap shots, missed whistles, and flat-out disrespect. Like she was speaking for every fan who's seen refs ignore the abuse. It wasn't only a foul, it was payback.
And I truly think that this was a message that she was sending to the leagues, to the officiating, just like to everybody, because it is, if you are watching any of these games, you are seeing that there is a disparity in the way that it's being officiated, and the Indiana Fever are held to a standard that no other team is held to.
This is where things really heat up, and why it's so much bigger than just one rough foul. What went down against the Sun feels like a defining moment for the WNBA. Maybe the league will finally review its officiating problems and clean them up. Maybe. But letting a blatant face swipe followed by a body check on the league's biggest star go without any consequences was crossing a line.
All right, enough is enough. You know, at some point, the line gets crossed too often where something needs to be done and things need to be corrected.
That game produced 2 huge outcomes. First, Caitlin Clark's fans, already irritated, hit their breaking point. For over a year, they've been dismissed by the media, called fake fans, and labeled with nasty names, even while they packed arenas and boosted TV numbers. And now, after watching Caitlin get smacked across the face and shoved to the ground with no punishment, frustration has boiled over into outrage.
Again, the league's been handed this miracle, this beacon of light, while it was down in some dungeon in the basement on life support, and it was never turned a profit, lost $40 million last year. They get handed this beacon of light, and all these players cannot stand her. They're jealous, the players union, it looks like the whole league.
There's a growing belief among Clark's fans that the league doesn't actually want her to succeed. And when that feeling spreads, something dangerous happens. Fans begin cheering for 2 things: Caitlin Clark to keep shining, and the WNBA itself to collapse without her. Because if the league won't protect, promote, or even recognize what she's doing for its growth, then why should her supporters stick around for anyone else? It creates a toxic split that isolates the league's top star and damages the long-term future of the game.
So this is a petition to get Sophie Cunningham removed from the WNBA. Where she displayed tonight was disgusting.
Now, you could call it internet drama or brush it off as just noise. And yes, Sophie Cunningham's clapback was hilarious, but the reaction is real. Fans aren't just trolling. Some are seriously calling for Sophie to be banned from the league, demanding the All-Star game be moved out of Indianapolis, and even pushing for boycotts. The irony is wild when you compare it to just a few months ago.
The anti-Clark fans, I am seeing them not only celebrate Kiki Iriafen in this situation, but say that Sophie Cunningham was at fault for what happened, and she got what she deserved, and saying good job Kiki Iriafen.
In a preseason matchup with the Mystics, Caitlin's critics had no issue when Sophie herself was dropped hard to the floor. They actually defended the hit by Kiki Fan and even celebrated it. Some of the loudest online voices were openly encouraging more of that treatment.
We are seeing literal people, not threats of violence, but people encouraging violence against a player. And that's not on. That's not on for nothing. There are people literally out there encouraging violence against Sophie Cunningham. And these are the people that want to say another fan base is the worst fan base in the WNBA, and they're encouraging literal violence against players.
Here's my take. A section of the league and its fan base just can't handle Caitlin Clark leading the charge. And it doesn't stop with her. It spreads to anyone connected to her. After the Sky game, when Angel Reese fouled Caitlin, the backlash spilled over onto Indiana's roster. Fever players were suddenly attacked for not retaliating, their toughness and character questioned, just because of their association with Clark. It's not just basketball chatter anymore, it's deeper. Being linked to Caitlin Clark makes you a target. Once again, it's Clark and her teammates against everyone else.
The kind of stuff that's being said to them, the stuff that's being said to Kelsey Mitchell, the kind of things that are being said to Natasha Howard are actually wild. People have taken a photo of these women and circled a bullseye on them and have said, it's on site when I see you. Those are actual threats.
And with all of that tension, the Sophie Cunningham moment exploded. She didn't just defend Caitlin. She took on the role fans had been waiting for. The enforcer, the one who sends a message and puts the league on notice. That flagrant, that viral clip, that energy has already elevated her status. She's no longer just a Fever player. She's turning into a sports-wide story. In just 2 days, everything shifted.
Guys, it's actually insane how viral this has already gone. There's so many NBA accounts who are tweeting it. I was getting ESPN notifications about it. Like, it is wild how much traction.
Sophie's actions are now dominating TikTok, YouTube, and every social feed. And here's why it matters. Caitlin Clark's fan base is massive, bigger, and louder than anyone else's. They post, organize, defend, and elevate those who stand with her. Sophie didn't just stand by Clark. She stepped directly in front of the storm and shouted, "Not today." That bold defense of Caitlin on a national stage lit the spark. The result? Sophie gained nearly 600,000 TikTok followers in just 48 hours. That's not a small spike. That's sponsors, agents, and new fans suddenly branding her as the WNBA bodyguard. And it's only the beginning.
Sophie Cunningham's jersey has sold out. I repeat, the Sophie Cunningham Fever jersey has sold out.
Her jerseys were gone within hours. People who couldn't even name her a week earlier are now buying in. And that petition to boot her from the league? Sophie answered it perfectly.
They got beat up by the enforcers. But Sophie Cunningham has responded to the petition by just retweeting a freaking post about her jersey being sold out. That is a response. That is quote tweeting her the petition. Like, that is the best way of going about it.
At the end of the day, money and attention tell the story. And right now, Sophie Cunningham, once just a respected WNBA vet, has become a certified Caitlin Clark fan favorite. Here's the reality. Critics claim Clark supporters only care about Caitlin, not the WNBA or even the Fever. But that's false. Yes, they love Clark, but they also rally around the team she plays for and anyone who defends her. Sophie proved it doesn't get any more loyal than going full bodyguard mode. She fouled hard, sent a message, risked herself, and now she's being embraced like family. And this isn't temporary hype. Sophie has likely won over Clark's fans for life. Look at Kate Martin, who averaged under 3 points but outsold the league MVP in jerseys, simply because she was Caitlin's Iowa teammate. So now, picture Sophie, fresh off a viral enforcer moment. She's about to cash in big time.
I wonder how much money Sophie Cunningham is going to make on endorsement deals this season, this summer. Like, I think Sophie Cunningham's endorsement deals are going to go into the millions, are going to be in the millions this year. I think they're going to be in the millions this year. Because if you are not only like good in front, like she's good in front of a camera, she is now known as the Caitlin Clark's enforcer. And like, it's something that matters. It's something that really, really matters.
The thing is, Sophie already had the personality to be a star. Back with the Mercury, she was moonlighting as a Suns TV analyst and thriving on camera. She's charismatic, relatable, and media ready. Not stiff, not rehearsed. Plus, she can actually hoop. She's made clutch shots, smart plays, and proven herself as the veteran leader Indiana needs. Whether it's a fight, a big matchup, or handling media pressure, Sophie brings the full package.
For me to come in here knowing what I've been taught, I kind of want to spread it around, especially with how talented this group is. I'm just excited to kind of maybe be that calm piece when it needs to be calm, that feisty, sassy, stick up for my teammates when it needs to be that. And so just kind of reading the room and, whatever the team needs that day, being able to provide.
Even before this, people were calling her Indiana's most underrated signing, the hidden X factor who gives Caitlin Clark and the Fever the edge they need. And now, it's playing out right before our eyes. In a league that's become personal, fans versus establishment, Clark versus haters. One thing is clear, Caitlin supporters are fiercely loyal to those who defend her. Sophie Cunningham stepped up, loud and clear, and now she's about to reap every reward.